For those of you who don't know me, I have a leadership development business, and essentially I work with managers to help them become better leaders, better bosses, so that they can advance in their career and help their companies improve their performance. I do a fair bit of speaking. I do a fair bit of writing. Some of you may be receiving my leadership tip of the week. If you do, I hope you do, and if you don't, feel free to request it on my website, and I'll be happy to get it to you. We've got some noise going on back there, and I'm not sure what that is. Let me just make sure that everybody is muted. There we go. Everybody is muted. You will have the opportunity to ask questions. I think a good way to do it with as many attendees as we have for this webinar is to either raise your hand in your dashboard. There's a mechanism to do that, or type in your question in the question spot that is on your dashboard, and we'll be happy to try to answer your questions as we go along. If we can't get to it, then I know that Terry and or I will be sure to answer your question before too long. If you're taking notes, that'd be great. This webinar will be played in its entirety if I remember to start the recording. We will have a replay available sometime tomorrow afternoon, and you can access that on our website. There will be some instructions sent to you after this session to make sure that you know where to get it. When you check out of this webinar, we're asking you 3 questions. Give us some feedback. It's always helpful to us to try to improve the quality of the webinars and continue to add value to what it is that we try to do for our clients. So today, we are really, really honored and I'm thrilled to death to have this gentleman join us as our special guest presenter, Terry Brock. Terry is a marketing expert. He works with companies from one-person solo operations to Fortune 100 companies. He is a guy that when AT&T needed an editor-in-chief for their industry-leading blog about the cloud, mobility, security, and social media, they went to Terry Brock to head up that position. When Skype needed a chief enterprise blogger to handle not only their multimedia rich blog, but also their social media work, they went out to Terry Brock and asked him to be in charge of that. Terry is a certified speaking professional, and he has been chosen by the National Speakers Association to be in their highly coveted Professional Speaker Hall of Fame. And I can tell you that being part of the NSA group, being a certified speaking professional and being in the Hall of Fame is pretty outstanding credentials. Terry knows business and marketing. He knows how to help you get more done with the best tools that are right for you and your organization. More importantly, he knows the way to think about today's social media and make business work for you. So I'm really proud to have him as my guest, and I'm going to turn the presentation keys over to Terry because he's going to take it from here. And Terry?
All right. Well, thank you very much, Randy. It is great to be with everyone today, and we appreciate you taking time to be here to talk about a really important subject of sales tools and social media rules. And we're going to cover a lot here. As I like to say, what your mama never told you about iPads, smartphones, laptop computers, and how the heck you can get more done with social media even when you don't have time for it. I'm going to go ahead and start my presentation. You can see I'm using Keynote here on my MacBook Pro, and we'll go through that. Randy, while I've got you there, also want to make sure that everything's working fine. Are you seeing my screen and the information okay there?
We sure are. Your screen looks great. Nice job.
Excellent. Okay, well, we're going to cover a lot of ground today, looking at social media and portable technology and their things. Right now, when we look at it from a business point of view, we realize it is not a fad. It used to be in, I know for a long time, many people, I have to put myself in that camp, thought, well, this is just for kids. They're doing the Facebook, and they had the in front of it because it was modeled after what they did at Harvard. And they've had the Facebook at Harvard for many, many decades. where it was a yearbook. But this is not something that's trivial. On Facebook, as we know, over 1 billion people using it. And it's no longer the Facebook or for kids only. We're using this in serious business applications. I know in the work I did recently with AT&T, we looked at what was going on with Facebook, what we're doing in many different places. And there's pros and cons to each of these platforms. Each one has its strengths and weaknesses. So we're going to look at some of those right now for a good overview. And again, the purpose of this will be for business. We're looking at what marketers need to know. If you're interested in really enhancing your marketing, that's what we're going to work on. And here's a quote. I want you to think
may
about.
I interrupt you just 1 second?
Yes, sir.
I've had a very important question that somebody's asked about downloading the slides, and I thought I should ask you that question before you got much further.
We will have some downloads available, and let's see, these slides we will probably put together and change a little bit, but we'll have some available. And I'll tell you what, if someone wants that, let me know. Probably the best way to do it, what would be, send me a tweet. Send me a tweet at Terry Brock, and then what I can do is make sure you get some the good information, and go even beyond that to make sure you get a lot of ground, cover a lot of ground that you would need.
Very good. Thank you, Terry.
You bet. And while you're looking at this, you'll see this quote here. Moving fast enables us to build more things and learn faster. However, as most companies grow, they slow down too much because they're more afraid of making mistakes than they are of losing opportunities by moving too slowly. We have a saying, move fast and break things. The idea is that if you never break anything, you're probably not moving fast enough. And so my question is, who was it that said that? Well, as many of you probably already know, Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook. And that's the attitude that we've got to have today. You and I need to move rapidly, come up with ideas, and we're going to make some mistakes. When we do, we pick up and we go with it. It's like, welcome to the planet. We're all in this together and having a good time, so we help each other. But what you want to do now is particularly put a lot of focus on what we call the big five, and that is Twitter, which is fast, it's quick, it's everywhere. Matter of fact, it's faster than CNN now. We want to see what's happening, and we can get that now with Twitter. Pros or cons, it doesn't mean it's always true, and it doesn't mean it's always going to be nice and cordial, but it is fast, and we need to be aware of it. LinkedIn is particularly good for connections in business, serious business. I like to think of LinkedIn as joining an elite, very prestigious country club. There are certain kinds of activities that you would not engage in there. Overt selling, not appropriate. But connection and helping, yeah, and that's really the best way to market. And YouTube, which is really video for the rest of us, is changing not only technology, but the way that we consume video. More and more people now are going toward that. So we want to find out a little bit about you. Randy, you're going to be able to help me on this. We've got the wonderful technology of using this GoToWebinar that we're using for that. We have a poll question here. Which social media platform do you use most? Is it Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, or other? 5 choices there, and we would love to hear from you on that. So go ahead and vote now by typing in that particular number, and we will then hear from you.
We've got almost 60% of the folks on the line have voted. We're up to about 85 now, so that's good. A couple more to go.
All right.
And we're up to 90 and 93. Come on, everybody. Just take a second, do it. I'm going to close it.
I think this would be the way we ought to do those elections that we're doing. Instead, I don't know about everybody out there, but I'm getting tired of all the phone calls and both parties and all that. Wouldn't it be nice if we could do it like this, and it was authenticated, real, and we knew somebody wasn't cheating? Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be. Well, I'm going to close up the poll, and let me launch the results and have let me read them to you, Terry, because
I can see this here.
Oh, you can? Good. So you can see that we've got 54% Facebook and so on. Perfect.
Interesting. We have 0% on YouTube. That's interesting. And 0 on other. Okay, well, we see the dominant there. LinkedIn and Facebook, those are there. And, of course, numbers will vary as you go. But it really is important. Well, here's something I want to share with you. Now, this is where you might want to get your pen and paper out there and get things ready to go. Look at this. When I talk about the essence of social media, I've used this several times, kind of developed it when I was gearing up for working with Skype. And it seems to hold quite true now in many, many different ways. That blogging really needs to be central to your social media and what you're doing. When we start, we look at the blog and your website really as the core. And then from there, you want to have articles that you feed into it. Articles that satisfy needs that your customers, your clients, your members, those wonderful people, however you call them, that give you money, refer to it. Then you can also get audio content. This is easy to do now with freeconferencecall.com and many ways that you can record an MP3. You can now get an expert in your field, interview that person, and provide real content. And then, of course, don't forget video. I love video. We can do so much with it right now. Over on my site at terrybrock.com, we're getting a lot of good feedback on the bunches and bunches of videos that I've been able to do, both over Skype as well as in person. And so I would encourage you to bounce over to terrybrock.com when you get a chance, take a peek at what can be done there. Then once you've got that, here's what you'll want to do. This is exactly, by the way, what we did at Skype. We'd make an announcement, we would put it out there, and we'd say, okay, on 12 o'clock Tuesday, we're going to announce the da-da-da-da. And whatever it was, it would go out. And then immediately at 12 o'clock, we would then have links, LinkedIn messages, we'd have Twitter, we'd have Facebook, all ready to go, and then boom, it's like we send it out right there at that time, and it works out very well. So that's kind of what you might want to do as you organize your campaigns. Think of it that way. Don't forget, word of mouth is very important, and today, word of mouse, as you will click and send information out. And also, don't forget speeches. Those of you that are speakers, we know some of you are professional speakers joining us today. This is a great way to get information out. And, of course, YouTube and iTunes both give you the ability to get information out, and then this can feed back to your blog as well. And the most important one is whatever you can do, you want to drive traffic back to your blog as the central source and the central site. This is what matters in today's world, and getting it out there. So this will, you might even want to grab a screen capture of this. Those of you that have screen capture ability, go ahead and grab that, because that kind of sums up what you really want to do, the approach you want to take that works very well. I saw this happening at Skype when we were putting that message out, and I've also seen it in many, many other places. AT&T, we did the same type of thing. We had a blog that's still out there, a really good blog, Networking Exchange blog, and I was the editor-in-chief. We would put lots of information there, and then social media would amplify that. So this type of thing can be very good. Here's for example what we did with Skype, our Skype blog. You see that's me there on the left there talking to my buddy Chris Brogan, a wonderful guy who knows a lot about social media and doing many things with it and doing it right also. And other interviews you'll see over on the right side. There was one we did over Skype where the person I was interviewing, he was in New Jersey and I was there in Orlando. And then we turned around, and a couple weeks later, I interviewed Chris at his home. He's up in Massachusetts, and then we had some more Skype videos over here on the other side. So this is kind of how you could do it, similar to what we did at Skype, where you go out and you get the information, put it on your blog, and then have lots of good content. That is going to be the key. And then, of course, yourself as well. Randy, do you have a question?
Yeah, I've got a couple of folks who've had their hands up for a while, and I didn't want to interrupt you, but I think before you go on, would it be all right if you took a couple of questions?
Sure, I'd love to.
I think I'm going to open the microphone to, let's see if I did this right. Sarah. No, I didn't do Sarah right.
Can you eat your Jell-O or some yogurt or something that actually...
Okay. Hello, Miss Sarah. Sarah? Sarah is got her hand up, but nobody's home. So I'll go back and mute her up and see if there's another one right here. And I think, Melanie, are you on the phone?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you just fine, Melanie. Go ahead, ask your question of Terry.
Regarding the slides earlier, you said something about send a tweet, but I tried to look up your name. Can you give us the exact way to, just for some of us who may not be as familiar with the tweets, can you give us?
Sure, and thank you very much for asking that, because that's always a good thing to ask them. How do you do that? On Twitter. So if you go into Twitter and you have an account there, you can then send a tweet to someone. That's what we call it, that tweet thing. And my handle is @TerryBrock, Terry, and Brock is spelled the right way, B-R-O-C-K. So @Terry Brock, you can send it as one word and send that over to me, and that way I'll make sure I get it and I'll have that flagged. And if you have any questions after that and you still can't, you can bounce over to terrybrock.com and drop. We've got forms there, and you can leave messages that way as well. So I definitely want you to get in touch with me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie. Anybody else have any other questions? Please feel free to type them into the question box, and and or raise your hand, and we'll try and get to you. All right, Terry, back to you, my friend.
All righty. And I think the most important thing in all of social media is, remember, it is about them, not about you. Blogs that do the best are those that interact with others. Instead of treating it as a broadcast mechanism, those that do best are the ones that have that interaction where you're answering questions. And using video is really important. Growing up, many of us remember seeing old TVs. Actually, this is before my time, but they had little TVs like that. Well, video was for TV only. Today, it's much more than that. It reminds me of a sign I saw when I was over in St. Petersburg, Russia, a while back. It said, "Vodka, it's not just for breakfast anymore." You know, that probably sums it up really well. The video is going really far, and we're doing a lot with it. And it's kind of like the old black phones with rotary dials. You remember those? And this actual picture that I took when I saw one of these. It's really about communication. That's what social media is. It's people talking to people and meeting needs on that. And then in business, it's monetizing it. Figuring out ways that you can turn this into real money. Money that can be spent and money that you can use to help other people and to grow your business. I think I like the honesty of this guy here. Need cash for alcohol research. I think that sometimes we need to just come out and say, we got to do our advertising, we got to let people know where we are. Well, Melanie, you had the question about Twitter and what it is. Let me explain a little bit about Twitter. It's real strong. It started out with lots of people putting messages like, "My cat is sleeping." And it's like, okay, ho-hum, we don't care. We don't care that you're standing in line to get a hamburger. We don't care about this. Today, it's much more than that. It gives us faster customer response. Right now, we know that airlines like Southwest, Delta, and all the major airlines have people standing by to monitor what's happening on social media. So that if, say, a plane is delayed in a given city, they can just let people know that are sending out messages on Twitter, hey, we're with you, we're on it right now, we're sending people to resolve this issue, we can respond fast. So it gives companies a chance to really gain a competitive advantage when they can respond quickly. And it's a good way to build rapport. You get a chance to be with people and you really want to respond. Don't treat Twitter as just a way to send messages out. Use it as a way to respond to people, to listen to what they have. Some great tools, though, that are going to help you a lot are going to be needed. The reason? It's really, think of it like a huge river that you're standing and you see all that water going by. There's no way that you can grab all the water going by that river. But if you wanted to get just a little bit of a stream, you could channel it off somewhere. You really don't care about all the tweets that are out there, all the tweets that are sent on Twitter, but those that are very important, you want to filter those and zero in on them. For instance, wouldn't it be nice to know what people are saying about you and your company, or certain interests that you have, or your competitors? This can be researched very well. A tool like TweetDeck is very good for that. I use Hootsuite a lot, and those are very, very good tools for monitoring. I'll give you an example of those in a moment. TweetChat is another excellent tool so that you can have what's called a hashtag. Use the little pound sign. Over in Europe, they call it a hashtag, and I think they beat us to the definition of it. But it's a hashtag so that you can have, for instance, with the National Speakers Association that Randy and I are involved in, we have a hashtag called NSA12 or 12. So it's NSA12 for this year, and you put a little pound sign in front of that. Then when you send out a tweet, you can then put that in the message that you send, and people will be able to grab hold of that. This way, you could go back and find out everything that was said regarding a particular conference or a particular area. Here's TweetDeck. It gives you the ability to have various kinds of references in certain areas. You'll see, for instance, when I grabbed this one a while back, home over there on the left side, all the people that I'm interested in. It's flowing very rapidly. Lots of information coming in there. Me would be, hey, when people mention my name somewhere, and you'll notice over in the fourth column that I have mentions of @TerryBrock. If someone uses that reference, it pops up so I can see, oh, someone was trying to get in touch with me. That's why I'm mentioning that for a way for you to get in touch with me now, that we can make sure we do that. And an inbox would be some of those other feeds that are coming through as well. I particularly like Hootsuite because it does the same type of thing. It gives you the ability to schedule tweets to go out at a particular time. I like to send a lot of tweets about important industry events and important articles. Hootsuite gives you the ability to do that. Do not attempt to use Twitter, particularly for business purposes, by just Twitter alone. Hootsuite, TweetDeck, and a host of other tools are out there to make that a lot easier for you. And The most important thing is, again, generating sales for it. And here's something I wanted to give you. For you, get your pen and paper out, or your note-taking device of choice, or you're typing it into an iPad or something, and write this down. I've got a video on how you can use Twitter for your Salesforce, and if that Salesforce is just you, that's fine. And you'll want to go to http://tinyurl.com/ and then in all lowercase Twitter for the number 4 sales, no spaces there. If you do that, it'll give you a video. Don't do it right now, do it later, because it's a video that goes on for a little while, but it shows specifically how you can use Twitter and how Twitter is being used now to generate sales. I wanted to give that to you as a little extra bonus for taking time to be with us today. So that's tinyurl.com/Twitter for sales, and that should take you over to the site where you'll be able to see that. And then we look at YouTube, one of my favorites. I love out there the capabilities it has. It's amazing. You know, it's the second largest search engine right after Google, and Google owns YouTube, so it's pretty amazing what it can do. It's great for building a positive presence. A lot of businesses now are doing that so that they go out and they can talk directly to someone. You don't have to be real fancy with it. Just a webcam and you talking, as long as you're saying something that's of value to your market, can be enormously beneficial. And you want to have agility in answering. I use that. Matter of fact, just this morning, I got a note from a client. They were preparing for a program where I'm going to be speaking next week, and we're putting the final details together. So what I did is I created a video real quickly using a tool called ScreenFlow, and I was able to answer their questions with video. They saw me and they saw the information there on the screen, and it worked out beautifully. Another tool I love to use for that, one of my favorites, is Camtasia. Camtasia Studio or Camtasia for Mac, both really good for doing this. And then you put it up on YouTube, and I designated the video so that only my client would be able to see it. Treat it as unlisted versus public. Some videos, most of my videos are public, but often I'll create one that is unlisted or private, and I only want 1 or 2 people or a small group to see that. That's a good way to do it. You can make your customized messages this way for key customers and really reach through to them. And the ease of use is phenomenal. That's really an advantage of YouTube, and I recommend working with that. And then we get over to serious business, LinkedIn. And matter of fact, here's something that I've got for you as well. I put this together. Get your pen out. There's a quick 4-minute, 10-second video out there for you. And you'll go to http://tinyurl.com. And here's what you want to put in there. The number 8, then V as in Victor, W as in Whiskey, X as in X-ray, W as in Whiskey, Q as in Quebec, or Quebec as they'd say in the military, and K as in Kilo. Put those in, and you'll get a video interview that I did talking about how LinkedIn is important. And when you're in sales, the best question yesterday is actually the worst question to ask today. This is one that will help you not only with LinkedIn, but in many other areas too. Because LinkedIn is for serious business. It is like networking, but on steroids, because you're going to be able to reach people literally around the world. And you get to learn about key customers and prospects through LinkedIn. Now there's no excuse for not knowing something about an important person that you're going to go visit, or you're meeting for the first time and you want to know more about them. Bounce over to their profile and you can see a lot. And a real tool that I'm hearing more and more business leaders are using, they tell me that they're using groups for discussion to find out about common areas and what's happening. LinkedIn can be very important with that. And here's another bonus. I'm going to load you up with a lot of good homework and a lot of goodies that you can use. This is one of the best. My friend Josh Turner is an expert on LinkedIn. He really knows it. His material, he's got LinkedIn University. He's got some really good information. I was able to talk to him, and we were doing a webinar a while back, so we talked a little bit about that upcoming webinar, but we also got a lot of good information. Write this down also. http://tinyurl.com/ C as in Charlie, R Romeo, the number 2, the number 8, C as in Charlie, V as in Victor, and P as in Papa. So that's Charlie Romeo 28 Charlie Victor Papa. Put those in right after the tinyurl.com and the slash there, and that will be really good. So I wanted to give you a lot of extra value and information that you can do on your own, and share this with your people as well, so they will get a chance to really learn about some of these tools that are just enormous and changing a lot of ground right now. and changing the way that we do things.
See,
Randy, you have a
Terry,
question?
yeah, this is all great stuff, and I think we had a question from John. He just wants to see if you could speak a little bit more, provide a little bit more information about ScreenFlow in YouTube.
ScreenFlow in YouTube, what I do is I use ScreenFlow to capture what's happening on the screen. It creates a movie with your voice behind it and your picture if you want, your video, and then it captures what's on the screen so that you can see exactly what it will do. And matter of fact, when you go over to terrybrock.com and watch that, matter of fact, that video that I did there with Josh Turner on LinkedIn, I used ScreenFlow for that. So that'll be an example. Watch it for two reasons: to learn about LinkedIn, but also kind of watch between the lines and notice what I'm doing there.
Very good. Thanks, Terry. Go ahead, continue.
Sure thing. Okay, and Google Plus is a really good tool you want to keep your eyes on from the folks over at Google, of course. That's why you want to keep your eye out for it. And it is growing strong right now. I see it emerging more and more, not as fast as Google would like it to, but it is still coming on strong. One of the things I think is going to get the most attention will be Hangouts. Hangouts gives you the ability to have video conferences for a number of people. I believe the number is 6. I could be wrong, or maybe 10. I'm learning about it myself, putting this together. It has some really good tools to see various people on the screen, and of course you're doing it for free. But then a real nice feature of it is you can also use this and broadcast it live over YouTube. You just select that option, and then what you're showing on the screen, say a conference, you might be talking to 3 or 4 industry experts on a particular topic. This can be sent live so that people around the world just go to YouTube and they watch it. That is really nice. So I highly recommend keep your eye on this one. Kind of put a bookmark out there when you hear about it and think about it. And of course, we can't forget the biggest one, and that's Facebook, including, and I had to put a picture. Randy, do you like my picture of Mark Zuckerberg there?
It's great. How old is that guy? 12?
Yeah, I think he's, I forget right, I think he's like 27, 28 or so, but a brilliant guy. And by the way, for those of you that are presenters and stuff, I definitely made sure that I have the legal right to use that picture. Everything used, make sure you always do it and attribute it in the right way. So I've got that there. But they've got over 1 billion users now. That is just so big, you've got to be involved there. And as we saw in our survey earlier, we had a lot of people using that. 54% of our viewers on this particular webinar using it more than anything. Pages are very good for your public presence. You want to make sure that you have those pages there to talk about business, and that's where it gets a little bit more serious on business side. On the profile, that's your personal side. You can put information there, but focus on business for it. And matter of fact, one of the things I would say right now, just personal opinion, others might disagree with this, but I feel that that is a place where you want to make sure you know that people are seeing that and it will be remembered forever. It's on the net, and that's where I would stay away from topics like politics and religion and those types of things that can be quite controversial. I know some people like to put that out there, but I find that in doing it, sometimes it can turn away business. It can hurt you when you come out vocally on a particular area. Now, if you get into a group, that might be different. So if you belong to the Oogie Boogie Party, and you're a member of the Oogie Boogie Party, and you feel real strongly that Oogie Boogies should be the political dominant party, well, fine. There's groups for that, and you could go over there and talk all you want about Oogie Boogies or whatever. Randy, do you like my name there, the Oogie Boogie?
Yeah, I just don't know how to spell it.
Yeah, I haven't figured that one out either. But anyway, you could be in that and be able to do it there in Facebook with the groups. That would be a way to do it. And we can't talk about social media without going into portable technologies, because that's what is moving right now. Matter of fact, Randy, you notice the pictures that I've got there of an iPad, and then there's a smartphone 5, that's an iPhone 5, and then my iPad over there. Those are all my little babies. My little babies. Matter of fact, my iPhone 5 arrived just the other day, and the new arrival in the house, and yes, iPhone and father are both in good health. So doing fine, using it a lot, and having a blast with these. I particularly like the iPad because of the capabilities. It's really giving you the ability now, more than ever, to do business anywhere at any time. One of the key components now available on the Apple side, it's been available on the Android side for a while, is the LTE. That is long-term evolution, but LTE simply means you're going to get access to the net at really nice speeds. And by nice speeds, it could be 5 to 10 megabits is not unusual to see a download of that speed. I have found that now on my iPad, for instance, I'm using LTE. It is as fast or faster than Wi-Fi that I have here, or at least it feels that fast. On my Wi-Fi at home, I get, let's see, 40 megabits down and 5 megabits up. That's where we are today, and that's really nice, and we need that. But by having it this way, it gives you the ability to serve your customers more. That's the most important thing. And the trends are definitely in mobile right now. Trends in mobility are that it's getting smaller, more powerful, and using not only just your hands, but your voice. One of the things that blows me away is Siri, S-I-R-I. I know some people have had trouble with it, and I think the first versions were not as good. Right now, I'm finding that when I use it, at least on mine, I'm getting about 98, 99% accuracy in what I'm doing. And the fact that I can go in there and send a memo to myself, I can dictate email, I can dictate texting, so that texting now can be done just with a voice. That's very nice. And I can go into other documents and start writing information, but instead of writing, I'm talking it. It's a much more natural way of doing work and getting work done. So the possibilities are enormous. In some of my seminars, I talk about a product called iJot. That's E-Y-E-J-O-T. iJot gives you the ability to demonstrate a lot of these kind of capabilities. You see what really is most important, the real benefits of portable technologies? It's the result that you are going to get from using them. That's how you measure it. You can get overwhelmed with so many things out there and so many social media places. You think, oh, gee, how am I going to do all this? Well, focus on the results that you are going to get. You clearly define those. This is just basic management, personal management or business management, that you want to focus on what is it that I want to achieve. I love the way Stephen Covey said it so well. Begin with the end in mind. What do you want to achieve? And then, are there technologies, are there tools out there that will help me to achieve that particular goal? Like I mentioned here, iJot. This is a great little tool that gives you the ability to send a video email. And video email we've seen before, but the nice thing about this one is you use basic HTML or the Flash software that's loaded on about 99% of the computers out there. And even better part is the person you're sending it to doesn't have to load any software. And this is also real good, it's free. So you go to ijot.com, you can get this and then start sending some memos back and forth, and it does a very good job. Randy, you remember I sent you one of those the other day. How did that come through?
It was absolutely stunning to me. That you asked me a basic question, 30-second video. It was great because it was good to see you, it was good to hear you, quality was perfect, and it was user-friendly. So I'm going to get myself an iJot account and follow your lead. It was a great product.
Well, thank you. I really like it since I've discovered this, and I actually went and purchased their higher end. They have a free version, which gives you 5 minutes of video for $29.95, a little less than $30 a year. You get another level that'll give you 10 minutes of video and a few extra benefits, and then they have another one for $100, so you get 15 minutes plus a lot of branding and graphics you can do, so it looks just dazzling. $100 for a full year of use, and I would encourage you to take a peek at it. Start with the free version. Free, get to know that, and then go from there. It'll give you a lot of capabilities and give you the ability to do a whole lot with it. But when we look at iJot, what it is, it's one of the single most powerful one-to-one marketing tools that I have ever seen. I think that it's great for giving a message rapidly. You can talk faster than you can type. So when you can look into a camera and give a message that's intimately personal to someone, they know it's you, they know it's not a form letter that's being sent, that really is very important. And it's easy to produce, easy for them, easy on both sides. It's web-based, which means you can use it on your iPhone, you can use it on your Android, you can use it on your iPad, as long as you've got the video on there. You can use it on your laptop, on your desktop. It's platform agnostic. It really doesn't matter which way you're doing it. It also gets past corporate firewalls. Ooh, this is important. If this were on paper and we were going through all this on paper, I'd say circle that one and red flag it, because that's important for a lot of corporations that bar YouTube, they bar Skype coming in and don't let you see it. But this one will get through it. And here's the official term, dadgum easy to use. At least that's the way we set it out in the country. And it really is easy. Once you see how to do it, your learning curve on this one will be something like about 60 seconds, if that long, and really nice. And they have a free version, $30 and $100 option that's available for you. So it's also very good for one-to-many. If you want to record one and then send it out to a special group of people, send out an email blast to a group, or to your list, you can do it that way as well. So really, really handy for it, and I'd encourage you to take a look at what that is. So here's our second poll question. We're looking forward to hearing from you. I love this ability to do the poll, Randy. This is nice. What is your most used tool for sales? Laptop, smartphone, tablet, pen and paper, or other? You know, let us know what it is, and we will look forward to hearing from you on that one. So Randy, let's invoke the poll mechanism on all the magic on that and see what we can come up with.
You got it, big guy. I'm just going to do it right this very second. There you go. The group is alert today. We've got,
as we go through, see what it is. How are we doing on that so far?
we're at 75%. This group is right on top of it.
I love it.
So that's a new record for me to get 20 seconds in and have 90% of the folks in. So give you a few more seconds to get this done. And
this really is good. By the way, I want to, those of you listening to this as you're voting, think about this and read between the lines. Look what we're doing. We're getting real-time feedback. And by the way, it's anonymous. We're using innocuous questions here, no big deal. But think about how you could use this with a group of your own, where there might be some sensitive topics, and you don't want everybody knowing what everybody else says, but you really do need to know. Do they want to go to Wichita or to Chicago or Los Angeles or whatever, and you want to make sure you get the right answers? This is a great tool to use, as in this tool we're using right now, GoToWebinar.
let me close up the poll and share the results with the group.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it looks like we've got, in descending order here, laptop, smartphone, tablet, and pen and paper, with laptop coming in strong there at 55%. So you see that's really important. The other would be interesting to explore that a little bit because it ties with tablet. For me, it's now come out to tablet. Used to be laptop, although I still carry with me my laptop, tablet, and smartphone on the road. But then, hey, I talk about technology, so I'm going to be demonstrating these, and so I do that. But now, with the new iPad that I have, I'm doing almost everything that I used to do, including video production on the laptop, now can be done on the iPad, and it's real nice. Not as good, and still I'm going to use my laptop because I like that. But I think that's interesting.
Terry, I have a number of folks that I know, clients as well as acquaintances, that really want to get good at using a tablet for sales. They just don't know how to get started. And your point earlier about, think of the end in mind is brilliant, because they just don't even know where to go. They don't understand the capabilities. They don't understand how they could use it. And do you have any suggestions for everybody there?
Yeah, I think the real key is I've had this for years. I've been working with technology, and often people grab me after a presentation I make or something, or they call me up and they go, Terry, what computer should I get? And their pen is there in their hand, and their tablets, the paper tablets there, and they're ready to write down, buy the Oogie Boogie, because that's the big one, and they're waiting for me to say that. But really, it all depends. I like to start at saying, okay, hold it. Before we look at the laptop, the tablet, the smartphone, the iPad, or Android, or whatever, let's step back from that for a moment. Tell me what you want to accomplish. Exactly. What is your job like? What are you doing now? And tell me also what you do. How do you reach people? What you do? Because there might be a technology that could really address that they don't know about, and that is available. And so that's where I think you got to start with asking questions and exploring. Look at that first, and kind of just, I often like to start with just literally a piece of paper and a pen. And I do that and do some mind mapping. Like Tony Buzan's development on that is really good to start putting some ideas together, brainstorming it, or mind blooming, or brain blooming, as they like to call it. I like that better than the brainstorming. Brain blooming, doing that so that you can get your ideas, and then start looking at what is available. And also, for instance, I'll often tell people, I'll listen to what they say, a lot of my clients, and then I will say, well, you need to do such and such, because they don't know about this technology, but I can share that with them. And many people have come back to me and they go, Terry, that was great. We went out and we bought this, or we bought that, or whatever it was, and we got this, the sale came through. We got hundreds of thousands of dollars because of this thing that we implemented. So I would encourage you to always start with what it is you want to do, just thinking it. Forget technology for a moment, and then once you've identified what you want to accomplish, what you're doing, then we can start looking at tools that will fit, and that will be the best. Because there's a lot of benefits here for tablets and iPads for you as you use them. The iPad that I'm using is great. It's powerful, very lightweight. Notice that picture down there on the bottom on the right side. That's a keyboard that I bought. It's called the ZAGG, Z-A-G-G. Zag keyboard, and the iPad fits into a little part of it, and then it folds down. It serves as both a protective case as well as my keyboard is with me now wherever I'm going. I've got it so I can listen, and coupled with LTE. Remember I was telling you about that really fast access to the net? Whoa, this stuff gives you the ability to get the job done, serve clients, serve your customers from almost anywhere you are. And it's a real competitive advantage to have something like that. By the way, great for presentations too. So you can hook up a presentation on this and show it to someone, particularly on a small group. This is really nice. You can use it for checking your email, sending or checking text, social media messages, and more. One of the things I use it most for is reading. Randy, as you know, I like to read a lot. I enjoy reading lots and lots of books. I'm now reading most of them on screen, even though I thought I'd never go over to electronic. I thought I'd always want just the paper. Now, I've been doing it for a while. I prefer the electronic version over the paper version. Still read paper books, but I like this better. And video, hey, it's really nice to be able to sit down and watch educational training videos that are available on YouTube and other places. Plus, sometimes just for relaxing, say in a hotel room somewhere, you can get your own video and enjoy it that way. And audio, I do a lot of audio podcasts, often when I'm doing my morning workout. While I'm doing calisthenics, whether in the hotel room or at home, I can listen to some really good podcasts. And one of the nice little tricks here, I'll give you a little bonus on this. One of the tricks I like to do is to use the new podcast app that they have from Apple, and I can listen to it not in just 1x speed, but in 1.5x, 2x, or even 3x. They also, by the way, have a half x. What that means is the speed is adjusted. So if you're listening to someone who's talking like this very slowly, and you want to listen a little bit faster without it being distorted and sounding like Donald Duck, you can turn it up so it goes like this. And that really enhances your learning. I find I can listen to audio podcasts much faster and retain more information. That's the real key. It's funny how the human brain works on that. But when you have to listen, you're having to pay attention more, you remember more. So this really comes down to a lot. And is it a replacement for your laptop? Well, I don't know. For me, it is not, but it's pretty dadgum close, to use a technical term there. It's pretty dadgum close to get there and be able to start seeing it. And just this week, Apple announced their new iPad mini, which now I think I have to smile because the iPad I have is the third one, but they didn't call it the iPad 3. They called it the new iPad. But now the new iPad is the iPad mini. So, but it looks really good. Notice the key feature there, it's someone's holding it in their hand. So it really is nice. Smaller and lighter. It's got a lot of nice features. Is it right for you? Well, take a peek at it. I wish they had put the Retina display in there versus the other display. It's still really good. It looks fabulous. Go over to apple.com and you can see what it's like. But I think that for many people, this will be a great tool that they'll want to embrace. So as you look at the pros and cons of tablets, you need to do that yourself. You need to look at pros on one side, draw the line down the middle of the page, and all on the cons on the other side so that you can make sure that you work with it. And your smartphone benefits, these things are phenomenal. Most people know right now it's really a net connection device. GPS, I love on there. In spite of the goof up that Apple had with their maps, right now you know somebody's got a red face and they're probably working with their teams right now to fix that, as is Google, I'm sure, to come up with even better. Siri, it's really a little robot with Star Trek-like abilities, that it gives you the ability to talk to it and then it answers back to you. I'll often ask, hey, what is the temperature in Orlando when I'm here in town, or if I'm elsewhere? And it can tell me, or temperatures around the world, or various facts. Siri can do that very easily. And is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, but it's pretty amazing what we can do with it right now. The real reason we get the smartphone, though, is for the apps. Those applications that let you do so many things that you couldn't do before. Right now, you can use it for completing forms, sending orders, taking notes, making sure that, again, you're serving your customer better. Music, I find, works particularly well here with the headphones. And by the way, those new headphones that they have on the iPhone 5 are really nice. They're comfortable, and the sound is just jaw-dropping clear. If you like music and you like to listen to good quality audio, at least get a buddy that's got one of those and listen to it sometime. It's very, very handy. And the videos you can watch on there, I find also are nice, good for monitoring what's going on in the world, and just sometimes sitting back and just relaxing very easily. I love it for education and learning because that's a real high priority for me. And I would say, again, look at the pros and cons. The screen is good that it's a little bit bigger, but it's not as big as, say, the laptop computer. But then sometimes you don't want the laptop. So I find that different tools for different purposes will really work best for you. And here's a third question. We want to hear from you. Which smartphone OS are you using most? The iOS, which is the Apple side, the iPhones, the iPads, and those. Android, which is like the Samsung and some of the others that are out there. BlackBerry or other, and I guess we could put now Microsoft is coming out with their new slate that they've got, and I give the ability to do a lot in there. So if you're using that, that'll go into the other. But BlackBerry could be there. There's a few people still using that, or as many in high tech like to call it, the Grandpa Berry that's still out there. Some are still using. Well, let us know which one are you using, and what is your choice.
Very good. Grandpa berry. I hadn't heard of that.
Yeah, the Grandpa Berry, yeah.
I've heard the Canadian berry, but here we go. We're at about 75%. I'll give you a few more seconds if you haven't given us your vote. Okay, we're almost there. Very good. Thank you. Can close it up, and I'll share with you the results. There you go. Terry?
All right, well, it looks like Apple is winning here, as it is in the marketplace. iOS 56%, coming in with a 30 there with Android and BlackBerry. You know what would be fun to do, Randy, if we got this same group together again a month from now, and 2 months from now, and 3 months from now, and track it and see the trends. My prediction is that the BlackBerry will be continuing to decline, and we'll see both Android and iOS going stronger. I think they both are good. I thought about getting both and came real close to that, but my girlfriend said, Terry, you really don't need that, and she's right. Gina is very helpful on that one, so I think that this pretty much speaks for itself of where we are.
Yeah, the first thing that crossed my mind was, what would Gina say?
Yeah, what would Gina say? Yeah, she's really smart on that stuff, and she said, nah, I wouldn't need to, and she was right on that too. So, but really, your choices today, you've got two. If you're going to buy a smartphone today, this is what I tell my clients, the iPhone 5 or the Samsung Galaxy 3S, or S3, I mean, S3. They're both very good. The Galaxy does a lot that you don't have with the iPhone, like the near field communication. That means you can be near something and it can you can make a payment that way. Apple chose not to put that in there for some reason. You can share much easier with the Samsung than you can with the iPhone. They're both good. And it's kind of like, which is better, Ford or Chevy? Well, people are going to be opinionated one way or another, but really it's up to you to step back and ask, what are you going to do? How are you using it? And then go from there. That's going to be the most important thing. But remember, again, I'm stressing this over and over, duplicating this slide. It's really about them, your customers, your clients, your members, those wonderful people, however you refer to them, that pay you real dollars to help you pay your bills. Focus on what their needs are, and then get the tools to support that, to make it happen. Well, if at this point you're feeling just a wee bit on the overwhelmed side, that's that is normal. But here's what I would suggest. As you're looking at it, realize that, hey, that often happens, and we see that it's going to be. It's okay. We all are kind of overwhelmed. But step back and get what is right for you in your unique situation. So in other words, you think it through. And take baby steps. You don't have to do all of it all at once. People get overwhelmed on that, and that's an important consideration on a program that I'm going to tell you about on time management with social media. People keep talking and asking about that, and so taking baby steps is going to be incredibly important. Get help. Find people that can help you in a specific, practical way. And as I often like to say, you can get people to help you out on some of the social media that you need to do. This is why God invented India. So you can get some wonderful people that are extraordinarily intelligent, smart, know this, and can do a lot of good things for you there. Do something with social media every week. You notice how I put SoMe. That's the way we abbreviate, the real cool way to abbreviate social media. Do something with social media every week. And then stay agile, flexible, and keep learning in this fast-moving and changing environment, because it is moving fast. And a good way to do that is a product that I wanted to talk to you about and make available to you with some friends that I talk to who are doing incredible things right now with time management and social media. Chris Brogan, Gina Carr, Larry Winget, TV star and multimillionaire. Sally Hogshead, who is one of the best-selling authors on fascination. Gene Reisman, an expert on time management. The amazing Bob Berg, co-author of the bestseller Go Giver. And Mark Sanborn, best-selling author also. These are people that don't talk about social media. Chris does a little bit, and so we got him there, but most of them do not. Gina does some on that, but I asked them what they were doing to manage their time and how to use that. And so we put together a course. It's a digital learning course. It's available for you at an incredible amount of information for you. And what you're going to get with that is you're going to get answers to your questions about doing social media, even when you're swamped. So many people said, I'd love to do it, but I just don't have the time for it. So that's what this program addresses. From the heart interviews with the best-selling authors, speakers, consultants to help you get your results. Oh, and by the way, another person we have on there, Randy Gage, he did not know anything about Twitter a couple years ago. Now, Randy is using Twitter. He's very well known there, and he tells us exactly how he made $2 million in 2 years using Twitter. Just Twitter alone. $2 million bucks, and it's amazing. I've already gained a lot and made money myself following his techniques that he talked about. And some top time-saving tools. We're going to show you these in depth. Like I mentioned, Hootsuite and TweetDeck, some of those. You'll actually get a chance to see these videos. And the question that came through earlier about ScreenFlow, you'll see that there as well. So we're giving you video, we're giving you audio interviews with these people, as well as PDFs that you're going to get. So you're getting about $1,000 worth of material here and resources that are going to be very helpful for you. So this will be available. We sell it regularly for $197, but today, to help you out, and as a thank you also to Randy for being so kind, we wanted to put this in for you, so it's $97. You get that's actually a 51% discount. What you'll do is you will go online, you go over, and you'll be able to punch that in at, notice the website is up there at the top, bit.ly, bit.ly/SaveTime2012, all in lowercase letters and as one word. So if you go over to bit.ly/SaveTime2012, you'll be able to do it. And remember the code that you'll be able to use. SaveTime2012 is also the code. So you do that, and you'll be able to get a lot of good information that's going to be able to help you in some enormous ways. So we will go from there. We're getting, let's see, an error on this. That's interesting. Well, let's go back here. There we are. And so that will give you the ability to get a lot done and be able to do much, much more. And reaching me, Twitter is one of the best ways to do it. Also, if you want to reach me via email, I don't think I gave that before, but here it is, terry@terrybrock.com, terrybrock.com. And here's a direct phone line also. I want to really help you out on this. This directly comes to me, 407-363-0505. So that should be able to give you some information that you need, some things that can help you out as you're moving forward. And before I turn it right back over to Randy, I want to say one of the things that I found very helpful is a quote from my buddy Confucius. I call him my buddy because I like reading his stuff. But he said, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. And the second best time is right now. So right now is the time for you to embrace that, look at what is available, and this becomes a whole new beginning for you. Lots of opportunities for you. Embrace it and take action, because the world is changing now with social media in some profound ways, and we're seeing a lot of good happening in many ways also. Take the time to do it and make it happen, and I appreciate you being here. So here's the information again. Randy, I'm going to turn it over to you so we can add any other questions you might have.
Terry, let me ask you a couple of questions while we'll leave that screen up. A few questions have come in. Can you know if Twitter has a getting started kind of a video or a step-by-step training somewhere?
There are a number of those out on YouTube that are available where you can go and it's like, here's how you get started with it. And we all need that, because at some point nobody knew how to use Twitter because, well, it hadn't been invented. Then as they invented it, new things were there and we had to learn it. So YouTube is a great place to go and literally type in YouTube getting started with Twitter, or Twitter basics, or think of several different ways you could phrase that, and that'll be a good way to do it. And go over to Google, type that in. How do I get started with Twitter? How to use Twitter? There's an enormous amount of information in the form of PDFs and others that are out there. Wade through some of them are not going to be as good, but there are also some others. Search through for the gems.
Terry, do you have some advice or some tidbits of advice for protecting yourself with some of this technology? You know, identity theft and that kind of thing
Oh,
always seems to be a problem.
yeah, that's a very important question because that is becoming increasingly concerned. VPN is the way to go. That's for a virtual private network. Write that down and do a search on it. A VPN, virtual private network, gives you the ability to kind of shield yourself from some of that. Anything that goes on the net can be seen by a hacker. If a hacker is really anxious to do it, they will get through. The best way to protect your computer is to not go on the net ever. Well, that's not realistic. We know that. But realize that there's nothing that's going to be 100% safe. But look at a VPN that can give you the ability to shield. For instance, if you go to a coffee shop where lots of bad guys can jump onto your computer and see what you're doing, including your passwords you're putting in, your bank login information, things like that. And by the way, if you're at a coffee shop or a public place, try to avoid doing any kind of banking or financial business or sending something that would be very proprietary and you wouldn't want the world to see. With a VPN, you increase your chances of it being more secure dramatically. But I would recommend that. Now, there's also, for instance, Randy, if I can put a little plug in here, I know that you're coming up with a program next month with my buddy Robert Siciliano. He's an expert on computer security, data, and identity management. And that will be a very good webinar you want to attend. And Robert, if you're listening right now, I'm kind of tipping my hat to you up there in the Boston area. And he's got good information. And if you're listening to this, I'd write that down on the calendar. If you can be there at all, by all means, do that.
Robert is absolutely awesome. Question, Terry, if you still got a minute, is what do you think of Pinterest?
Oh, Pinterest. I have not used it very much, but I've heard many good things about it, and it is one of the fastest growing. And actually, as I think about it, it could almost edge in there as top 6, you know, but then we start getting a little too much. But Pinterest, for many people, in many ways, is a real good way to get pictures out there. It's predominant, for whatever reason, it's predominantly women. I think about 95, 97%, I don't know the exact number, of the users are women, and it's a marvelous place to get information, to see pictures, to look at like clothing outfits, to find out what you want, and different kinds of information to share. So it's good. They actually tried one called Mantrist, M-A-N Trist, kind of off of Pinterest. Didn't do too well. Not many guys went over there. I guess guys go to other websites. But Pinterest is a very good site. It's one that I would probably put on the radar, keep an eye on it, and get in there and start working with it if it's right for you.
We have another question about 4G. Is that 4G feature for tablets necessary?
I would say yes for me. It is necessary, 4G or LTE. The LTE is just a little bit faster. It's a kind of 4G. And it gives you the ability to connect with people faster and to get the work done. Today, speed is very important. It's been said before, money loves speed. People will go to where they can get the job done because time is one of the most important resources you have. The most important, actually, because you can go out and earn more money. You can't earn more time. What you want to do is to be able to get the job done faster, and I want to be the one that's got the fastest access to the net so I can get information done rapidly when I'm doing video. That's important, and doing it for my clients when they can get that information and they go, whoa, that was fast. That makes a very positive impression in today's world. So for me, yes, 4G or LTE, or if they come out with 5G and 6G and whatever it'll be, the faster we can get it, the better.
So we have another question. It comes from Melanie, and I think I understand her question. It is, what about using it to promote building products? And I think she was referring to Pinterest.
If you're using Pinterest for promoting products, I think that's a very good tool. There's a lot of people that are doing that effectively. And again, what I would do if I wanted to learn it, guess where I would go? YouTube.
Where?
Go to YouTube and type in learning Pinterest, using Pinterest in business, starting with Pinterest, things like that. Those kind of phrases, and you're going to get probably hundreds of videos that are available that are out there. Some of them are not going to be as good, but there will be some others, and so you've got to be eclectic in your learning. Get out there and just be like an information vacuum cleaner. Just grab all you can, start learning that, and have fun while you're doing it.
And you know the best part about it all, Terry?
What's that?
It's free.
Yeah, that's right. It is free. Now, it does cost you your time. So, yes, it's going to cost you time, but hey, you've got to be willing to part with your time and you got to put some coins into it. I've often found that when someone's willing to part with their capital, put a few coins out of your purse into it, you'll be better. I think of the quote of Benjamin Franklin when he said, "Pour the coins of your purse into your mind, and your mind will overflow your purse with coins."
Terry, well said. Speaking of time, we are definitely out of time. I thank everybody for joining us. Terry, I thank you for the great information. You're a very valuable resource. Be sure that as you find needs in this area, Terry is your guy. You got to go to Terry.
Randy, thank you very much. Great being with you.
Thank you for being here. Next webinar is all about cybercrime. You don't want to miss it. Robert is just a huge resource for this area. Next Thursday, November 8th, 1 p.m. Eastern. You can register on our website, and you can look for notices coming out. When you exit this, we have a 3-question feedback survey on exit. Please take a couple of seconds to give us some feedback. I hope you enjoyed the program. Thank you all very much. Randy Gorick signing off.